air adventures of BIGGLES.
At Scotland Yard, Assistant Commissioner Raymond is telling BIGGLES of a new assignment. There is to be no compulsion about this because great danger is involved, and the job is really outside the normal sphere of the air police. Raymond describes the revolution in China, in which the communists seized complete control of the country. He paints a picture of the dreadful plight of the Christian missionaries marooned there, and tells how some of them escaped to the Gobi Desert in western China.
I'm sorry I can't be more definite about this, BIGGLES, but, well, we don't know what happened to them after Feng Tao left.
Feng Tao, is he the Buddhist priest who came away with the information?
Yes, I know very little about him, of course. His statement was forwarded to England from Hong Kong.
He's got courage. There aren't many men who would walk right across China to help their friends. How far would it be from the Gobi to Hong Kong?
From the place where the missionaries are hiding, about 1,500 miles.
1,500 miles through hostile country. Without meeting him, I'll pay Feng as a brave man.
The communists may not have interfered with him, of course. I understand they're being careful with the Buddhists. They don't like them, but the government's anxious not to cause resentment among the people on religious matters.
But that doesn't apply to the Christians.
Oh, no. Our missionaries are in great danger. Too many of them have been brutally murdered for the survivors to come out of hiding.
And as far as we know, the only survivors still in the country are those people hiding at the Buddhist shrine in the Gobi Desert.
That's it. You see what you're expected to do?
It's pretty obvious, sir. We get them out.
Yes. The Gobi Desert is roughly 300,000 square miles in area, and it doesn't touch the sea anywhere. There are very few roads through it, and none that lead to friendly countries. It's right in the heart of communist territory, with China to the east, Mongolia to the north, Xinjiang to the west, and away to the south, Tibet and the Himalayas. You see, BIGGLES, nothing but an aeroplane could rescue those people.
Someone's obviously heard that we fly aeroplanes.
Not only that, there are many important people who know that you've successfully handled several, well, shall we say, unofficial jobs in the past.
Is this one to be like that? No backing from the government?
Outwardly, there can't be any. To send you in officially, we would have to ask permission of the Chinese Communist government, and I can't imagine that they'd grant it.
The Russians would have a say in it too, I suppose. Aren't they active through the area?
One of their supply lines for Korea goes through there. The Red Highway, they call it. It used to be the famous Silk Road, the caravan route.
So, as well as having to cope with the desert and Chinese communists, we are likely to bump the Ruskies too.
It's possible. Very little information comes out from behind either the iron or the bamboo curtain, but we suspect that there are quite a few Russian-controlled airfields and bases in that area.
Sounds a tasty little job. We disappear into the middle of Asia, surrounded by a choice assortment of enemies, and if anything goes wrong, the government throws up its hands in horror and says, we had nothing to do with it.
Unfortunately, old man, that's the way it has to be. But the government is interested in rescuing the missionaries, and it'll help you in every way, apart from open recognition.
That's the way that helps when you're in a bother. However, we've done well enough without it in the past. I suppose we can do it again.
Don't make up your mind yet, BIGGLES. There are 100 difficulties we haven't discussed yet.
There are always difficulties. But it's simply a case of dodging them and bringing the missionaries out, isn't it?
You can't dismiss them like that. To begin with, you must get into the country.
Simple. We fly in.
From where?
Oh, I haven't worked it out yet. From either Pakistan or Hong Kong, I should say.
If you fly from Hong Kong, you will have to cross the most thickly populated part of China. From Pakistan, you'd go over the Himalayas or Tibet. From wherever you go, you'll have to fly over more than 1,000 miles of communist territory.
A long way.
A deuce of a long way. I don't see how you can do it without being seen. And if you are seen...
Well, what happens then?
You'd be entirely on your own in a hostile country. Not only that, you'd be on illegal business, and you'd have no authority to back you.
We've been in spots like that before. I think we'll be able to make the Gobi all right.
Very well. Suppose you do reach it. The next problem will be to locate the actual place where the missionaries are hiding.
But you know where that is, don't you?
Roughly. But it's a tiny speck in the heart of the desert. You'll have been flying on a compass course for more than 1,000 miles over country that all looks alike. It's going to be extremely difficult to put down at exactly the right spot. Then you will have to land on unsurveyed ground where a crack-up would be fatal.
You don't make the job sound very tempting, sir.
I'm trying to point out the worst features of it. I know the adventure will appeal to you and your blokes, but I want to be sure that you know what's ahead of you before you decide.
All right. Frighten me some more.
The desert will frighten you, BIGGLES. It's probably the most desolate place in the world. Most of it is shifting sand and gravel, with outcrops of rock and high barren mountains.
No rivers?
Very few. Melting snow on some of the mountains from streams, but they lose themselves in great salt marshes.
Sounds a nice place for a holiday.
It's a shocking place. Very little grows there. There's practically no water. For this reason, life over most of the area is virtually non-existent.
But there are towns, aren't there?
Well, a few. And, of course, we don't know what the communists have built out there. But apart from those, there are some Buddhist shrines at the water holes, scattered tribes of nomadic brigands, and darn little else.
Righto, sir. I'll forget my idea of a holiday. Now, what can you tell me about the shrine where the missionaries are hiding? The Caves of 1,000 Buddhas, I think you call it.
No, I said it was in that general area. The Caves of 1,000 Buddhas is an extraordinary place. It consists of a cliff honeycombed with innumerable caves, most of them interconnected and all wonderfully painted or decorated with images of Buddha.
I'd like to see it sometime. But I'm more interested in the actual hiding place.
It's a similar shrine, a hill riddled with decorated caves. Just have a glance at this map. Now, you see the town of Tunhawang?
Yes, almost at the junction of Mongolia and Xinjiang.
About 20 miles to south of it, there's an oasis called Nanhu.
I found it, on the Tang River.
The hill is overlooking that oasis.
I see what you mean about it being a long way from home. There aren't any features on the map. Do you know of any landmarks that would help guide us there?
Well, there's the Tang River, of course, although I believe it isn't much of a stream. And then a little way off, there's another famous rendezvous for pilgrims known as the Lake of the Crescent Moon. The water is intensely blue, and there are some poplar trees around it. That should stand out from the desert.
I remember it, the Lake of the Crescent Moon.
The only other landmark near Nanhu is a small disused temple with a ruined tower and crypt below it. It should be possible to see that from the air, too.
What about Nanhu itself? Anything to see apart from the hill and the oasis?
There's a guest house, I understand, a building which the abbot put up to shelter wandering pilgrims. I've no doubt that's where the missionaries are living.
Nothing more to tell me, sir?
Not really, Biggles, except that it's a job that must be handled with the utmost caution. Naturally, we don't want anything to happen that might involve England in trouble with Russia or China.
I understand. We can go out there and risk our lives, but we must be tactful about it. Mustn't make things uncomfortable for the boys at Whitehall, eh?
You mustn't start another war, if you want it bluntly, Biggles.
I won't guarantee anything like that, sir. But if I do agree, you can take my word for it, the missionaries will be rescued.
Now, look here, Biggles, don't be impulsive about
No, I've
this.
no intention of being stupid, sir. But I'll have to do the job my way or not at all. I won't touch it if there are conditions imposed by shiny pants government officials.
All right, Biggles, I can promise you your own way. I'll rely on your common sense. I take it that you want to do the job.
I can't say that I want to do it, sir, but it's out of the question to leave those missionaries to die. If someone has to bring them out, it may as well be us.
It's entirely up to you, old man.
It's up to my blokes. Let's say I'm on if they agree.
Very well. How long will it take you to persuade them?
I gave them the day off, and I understand they went riding, so providing there are no broken necks, I should see them tonight. You'll have your answer tomorrow, sir.
They'll be talked into it by then, will they?
There'll be no compulsion about it. You allowed me to make my own decision. I'll do the same to them.
And just as I knew what your decision would be, you're quite sure of your blokes, aren't you? For the sake of those missionaries, I hope there are not any broken necks today, Biggles.
Wacko! Licked you hollow, old trout. Whoa there, boy. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold it, old sausage.
Whoa there! That's the fella.
Ah, well, what did I tell you? We Lissies are supreme. That's the third race we've won today. Where horsemanship is concerned, no one can hold a bally candle to us.
You're on a good nag there, I'll give you that.
That, old trout, is not precisely what we Lissies meant.
No, I know what you meant, but we've had enough skiting for one day. Where's old Algy?
Oh, miles behind. Ah, there he is, still coming up the hill.
Oh, yes. He drew a dud in that old moke, didn't he?
Come on, Harriet. Let's give him a welcome as he trundles up the jolly old straight.
Oh, have a heart, Bertie.
Tantivy, Albine, Tantivy! Good to see you're joining the merry throng. We thought you'd stop for a snooze.
That's enough cheek from you. Whoa, fella, whoa.
We've got to hand it to you, Algy. You're kind to animals. I haven't seen you take that nag fast all day.
The darn thing won't go fast. It spends most of its time dreaming about the feed bag back at the stable.
Perhaps it'll go better downhill, Algy. You game for another sprint?
That's not much use, is it? I'd go faster if I ran.
Yes, it was occurring to us lissies that it might be fun to take the old GGs over that fence down there. Of course, if you'd rather not risk it on old Strawberry.
Oh, I'm not frightened. I'll take offence with anyone.
No, Algy, he may not be a jumper.
Oh, I'm off. Anyone else coming?
Ah, you made it, Ginge? Sorry I didn't see you.
Yours was a beautiful jump, Bertie. I'll give you full marks for that.
Now, how about Algy? Oh, yes, here he comes. Yes, he's taking it now.
Come on, Algy! Give it everything you've got! Holy smoke, the horse isn't going to take it.
He's balking. Sizzling sausages, he'll crash into that fence. Algy!
Bertie and Ginge watch with horror as the horse rises too late and crashes into the fence, throwing his rider to the ground. Has Algy been hurt? How will this affect Biggles' new assignment? Be sure you hear the next exciting episode of The Air Adventures of Biggles.